Hi, welcome to the show, Eye on South Asia. I'm your host, Sunil Hali.
I'm Prakash Swamy, Managing Editor, The Indian Express North American Edition.
And in this show, we bring to you latest news, views, and happenings in the South Asian community in North America. So, Prakash, very interesting week. The longest awaited trial of Darun Ramesh comes to an end. And it's actually talk of the town. You go anywhere right now, when the verdict was given last week on March 16th, I mean, most people expected it, but not this harsh. The issue being debated everywhere, which is almost reaching now Washington, D.C., is yes, this kid was guilty. He was notorious. He did something which is mischievous, and there is a loss of life. But to be given 5 to 10 years, is this right?
You're absolutely right, because in cyber case laws, there is not a punishment for more than 2 to 3 years. And you look at the case of a woman in Los Angeles, she did the same prank with MySpace, and she was probably cleared with some community service. So this 10 years is really too long a period for a kid who has no intention to make the guy drive to that particular incident.
Well, they cleared him on the most important point, which is whether he was he used to hate gays, which is at least come out very clean, because I think essentially the statute and the law is being very protected toward this most vulnerable community. So the most people were seeing as, typically of US, they will try to give a punishment which will make sure that hate crime never prospers, and it is handled with firm hand. But being found guilty on all other 15 counts and then being given a punishment up to 10 years is serious. Now, there is a mixed opinion. Of course, some people think it sets up a rule forever, and that any kid will be very careful. They don't want to be unnecessarily, as they call, doing pranks. But generally, the opinion in the community, not only the Indian community, who feel, some of the segments feel victimized here. They think it's deliberate. But even the mainstream American feels that this is too much. Like you said, it's not deserving of a 10-year. He did not kill somebody. He did not hurt somebody. He was not violent. He does not have any other track record. It's just a naughty kid. During the college life, he saw what he saw and he set it up and is in trouble now. But Prakash, if you think about it, what I feel really bad in this whole situation is the way he was handled by his legal team. I mean, he was given an opportunity to do the community hours, 600 hours. What is the big deal? Do it. That is the way you should go about it. And
plea bargain and then get it done.
And of course, it's a correctional process when you do the community service, but he had the opportunity. But he seemed, or his whole group seemed to be either very gets carried away with the money they had, or they just thought they have something up their sleeve which nobody else knows, and they'll be able to get away from it. They should have pleaded guilty. That's my personal view about
it. Remember the case of Anand John. When Anand John was convicted, there were umpteen number of cases against him. Then slowly, one by one, all the girls who gave complaint withdrew, or they were proved wrong, and finally end up only with a few cases. But the punishment he had was tremendous. I mean, he has got to pay 20, 30 years or 40 years in jail. Now, when that happened, people talked about why the system is like that. So now people have started comparing with Anand John case and also with Ravi.
And all this activity which has just triggered after this verdict, there are blogs and there are tweeters, there is a lot of representation, emails going all over the places, and I believe there is a petition drive going on for signatures from the community all over, which will be sent to President Obama for some kind of reconsideration here.
White House, because you require 25,000 emails or signatures to attract the attention of White House.
Okay.
I think they already have a couple of thousands and they're working on it. But again, I don't know, I'm not sure what can a president do in this particular case.
That's why I'm
in
saying,
the election year.
Because some people called me also, they thought since we are a media, I said, look, we have a job to do, and We have been objectively following this story all along on our show as well. And ultimately is the judgment of the jury, which hurts us as Indians because it really doesn't put us in a nice light. Rutgers is a great university. We have tons of students from our community. It's almost like an Indian university, and for right reasons. It's gloriously acclaimed. But here was a very wrong incident. It's a very negative image. In fact, my daughter goes to the same college, and my son is joining now, almost, hopefully in this fall. I feel it just reflects badly on our community, and I do think that he could have been dealt with a little less harsh punishment.
And again, Indians have always been known as a model minority in this country. Right. They are law-abiding citizens. They don't get into any problems. They never, engage themselves in illegal activities, except a handful of them, unlike other immigrants. But now the attitude of the kids are slowly changing. They're raping their friends, they're raping others. So they're slowly getting into problems which was not heard of 5 years ago, 10 years ago. In 2000, you would never heard of a case like this involving an Indian boy. All that we could hear was an Indian boy excel in studies, coming up first in the university. Now we are slowly getting into the system, and there's a price we have to pay for it.
Yeah, we will come to that story also, how Indian kids have been excelling and in the science competition. But here is the next story. While we'll be watching the development on Darun Ravi's case, we move on to the next story, which is about our friend. Everybody calls him India's friend. You know him personally, Mr. Gary Ackerman. It seems he's calling it a day. And he is not going to be contending for office once again in 2013. So this will be his last. So this man, who is essentially one of the founders of Congressional Caucus, he was and the Indo-Americans, he was always there in every festival. He was the co-chairperson of the caucus for several years. Then he was the chairman of the House Foreign Relations Committee for Asia and Pacific. The man was truly a friend of India, and he stood by India every time the issue about the wrongdoings from Pakistan came up. He had the courage to stand up and speak about it. But now it seems he is calling it a day, and there is of course a version out there that he does not think that he has much of a chance in 2013 because of the redistricting, the way it's been contemplated. So I guess that may be the reason that he is not sure, or he is saying that he will not go forward. But one thing's for sure, he has been a friend of India, and his loss in Congress, an ardent supporter and admirer of India, will be a big loss for us. In fact, his daughter-in-law is from India. Indeed. So we really feel thankful to him as the new generation of Indian Americans here now. We are extremely grateful for the work that he has done for our community and our country all along.
If you think of the politics in the US, there was only one voice 15 years ago. Stephen Solarz was the only friend of India in the Congress. His voice is the only voice, and at the time nobody would ever imagine there'll be a Congressional Caucus on Indian Americans in the House and in the Senate. And next to Stephen Solarz, we have to say salute to our good friend Gary, because he's been a real supporter of India at every cost, including when the Clinton administration imposed sanctions on India. His voice was the first voice supporting India.
We salute him for the work he has done, and we hope his vacuum, if he definitely does not come back in 13, is filled up by somebody else who is as able or more. On the Indian front, actually from the global point of view, we have Mr. Narendra Modi, the illustrious Chief Minister of Gujarat, the most happening state of India. He's on the cover of Time magazine. Think about it, this man was not given a visa to come to US. His own business visa was cancelled. And he makes it to the cover of Time magazine, and the cover says, Modi means business, but can he lead India? They have already triggered it. So West is clearly looking at him a very different way. Here is a man who, who was constantly being pushed into a corner because of whatever happened in Godhra in 2001 and being blamed for it. Now, the way this article looks at him is how Gujarat, I mean, the writer appreciate how Gujarat has largely escaped the land of conflicts and petty corruption that often, paralyze India. Look at what's going on in the center in India or many states of India. But Modi has been credited to set the nation, to set the economy onto a revamping state and leveraging on Gujarat's natural advantages. And he talks, the article talks about how he's working in the big businesses and the farmers on the other hand. You get 24 hours electricity supply to both sides, but the rich pay more and the poorer benefit more out of it. I mean, this is amazing. What do you think?
You're absolutely right, because if you see the quality of Indian politicians, it's slowly coming down. They are mired in controversy of corruption and backstabbing and. But when you think of Modi, they could say about him anything, but not one word about his corruption or nepotism. He never allows any of the family members come near him, including his own brother who worked for the state government. His promotion was not cleared by Modi. He was such a perfect in the administration, the opposition could not blame him. And he really took his state to new heights in terms of getting investments from abroad, including from the US, which said, don't come to my country. And second thing is that in terms of Modi's state, the biggest advantage he has got is everybody loves him in the state. I went to Gujarat during my trip to India and I was talking to the cab driver and he was saying he's like a god.
He's a hero.
He's a hero. And they don't look at him as a chief minister, they look at him as one among themselves where people could go and tell their problems. And this is proved in the elections where they said, is it Rahul versus Modi? And Rahul failed. So probably Modi could be the next.
Yeah, you're talking about the India Today. They did a survey recently, and 24% of the people polled for Modi as the Prime Minister versus Rahul Gandhi, who's projected to be the next Prime Minister by the central government, and he polled 17%.
Yes.
And see, what I like about Modi is, he says this is not luck. He says it's purely well-devised plan and work. Delivery. You're talking about 700,000 cars coming out of that state in 2014. Industries, you have nano car. Now Maruti has moved in there. Every industrialist looks at that state as the home to them. Like you said, I've been in Gujarat several times and I've seen it when there were no roads. I'm talking about 2004. Only as recent as 7 or 8 years ago, I wanted to drive from Surat to Ahmedabad and there was broken road. You could not drive. You had to take a train or go back to Bombay and take a plane probably. And today, you can be in Vadodara and come for a dinner to Ahmedabad because there is an expressway. This man is amazing. And one thing I like about him is he's constantly being pointed at for having a bias against any particular community. They say he's against Muslims. But the fact is that if you visit his office, there is no idol, there is no pictures, there is no heroes. There is only one picture of Swami Vivekananda, who obviously is accepted as a global icon. I mean, this man is amazing. He just went about, revamping the economy. He was looking at the biggest denominator and he was looking at the most rich people. He's building the coastline, he's building the industries, he's building the real estate, power, electric, he's building the trains. I mean, everybody is somehow feeling this is the state where you need to go into.
He's more proactive. One of my very close friends, an IAS officer from Tamil Nadu, told me the last regime of the DMK government, a top American company went to Chennai, the CEO and the entire board, to set up a company which is billions of dollars. But the government could not give permission and they wanted some kickback. Modi, hearing about it, he took his entire team and flew to Chennai, stayed in a 5-star hotel, invited the entire US company to the hotel and told them, what do you want, come to Gujarat. They said, this is this. And there he instructed his secretary, all the secretaries of various departments to sign the letter, give it to him. And the deal was clinched in Madras, not in Gujarat. That's a kind of proactive man, and even people still say how he goes aggressively to scout investments for Gujarat, even poaching into other states to get the investments.
I was there last year during the Vibrant Gujarat. 141 thousand, whatever, it was called some lakhs, crores of investment. I could not even remember the figure. I said, is this real? Do you think this is all MOUs being signed here? They said, trust me. You know, my friend Mr. Mitra, who is the secretary there in the industries and civil aviation and tourism, he said this is real. Trust me, if it's not all of it, 1,41,000 as they call it, crore rupiah will not be all put into ground, but trust me, at least half, if not more of it, will be seen on ground, which is what we are seeing right now.
Absolutely.
And the last thing about that we would want to talk about is that Mr. Modi has the big plus. He does not follow nepotism. He does not agree with dynastic rule. As you said, even his brother has to fight for a promotion. He is very clearly looking for work, performance, and delivery.
If at all one person could take the country to the next level in the next election, it would definitely be Modi, because when you look at BJP, there's a problem between Nitin Gadkari and Advani, and there's a lot of, at the vacuum at the top level. So it's the right opportunity for Modi to be the Prime Minister, because anyway Congress is going to face badly with the next elections, according to the pundits. And that happens, Modi will be the right choice to take the country to a great global height.
Let's hope that India becomes a truly progressive society and they look beyond the borders of individuals' state and let him lead as the administrator, the man who will take country to the next level. But we'll come back after a short break. Stay right there. We'll be right back.